Hey, welcome to Dungeon Schlock, where I mine bad B-movies for inspiration to see if there's anything fun in there for your next D&D game, or whatever TTRPG game you prefer to play. Today we're going to take a look at the 1983 toxic mess known as The Being. Now, if you want a full breakdown of the movie or just the movie review in general, you can find that over on my other channel, Good Kid Media. I'll have a link down below in the description where I'll go in depth about the film and everything that happens in it. So head on over there if you want to check that out. But here, we're going to talk about the main points of the movie and how we can turn that into something fun for your next D&D session. And honestly, as I was watching it, I was thinking this whole thing could make for a really fun side quest or one-shot. So here's a quick rundown of the things I think that can be pulled from this movie. Number one is the setting. It's a small town that's being used as a toxic waste dump. Number two, the mayor and his wife, who are very concerned, well, at least his wife is very concerned about smut coming into their peaceful town. Number three, the local sheriff, who only seems to talk in an inner monologue, but not internally, externally. Number four, people vanishing from the small town. And number five is the monster itself, the being. You could have a podunk little village that's either in between adventures as they're traveling somewhere, they run into this town, or you could just set your story in this town. We could call the town the Hamlet of Pottsville, because I think in the movie it's Pottsville, Iowa, is the name of the small town. You could have it so that as the party wanders into town, they can talk to some of the local NPCs and learn that the small hamlet of Pottsville is being used by the ruling kingdom as a dumping site in their river for alchemical waste. But the king has sent a royal advisor, a mage or an alchemist, to make sure it's all 100% safe, that nothing will contaminate their water supply, and that everything is completely fine, to reassure the citizens. One of the key NPCs that the party could meet is the local sheriff named Rex Coltrane, and he's an odd fellow who seems to speak only as if he's having an inner monologue, but out loud. And he is, not too sure about this alchemical waste that's being dumped in his peaceful little city. He has suspicions that there's something bigger going on. And maybe when they talk to him, or some of the other people around town, they learn that there have been disappearances going on. Maybe there's a child that went missing, maybe another citizen went missing recently, and it all started around the same time that they started dumping this alchemical waste near their town. Some other important NPCs they could run into are Mayor Gordon Lane and his wife Virginia Lane. Now, have it be known that Virginia Lane is very concerned about smut entering their peaceful little town. She's very concerned about a massage parlor that is planned to open up within the next few weeks, and this is not okay to her. She feels like this is the gateway to allowing all kinds of smut to enter their peaceful little hamlet. Gordon Lane, the mayor himself, although he feigns concern for his wife, he's not as concerned and secretly might be looking forward or indulging in said smut.
Are you in favor of filth coming into Pottsville? But we're pretty sure they're putting in one of those filthy massage parlors.
It's everybody's responsibility to keep pornography out of this state. Satan must be stopped at every opportunity.
Another neat element that you could pull from the movie is that in the movie they talk about this really big storm that's approaching.
And that another storm front could be sneaking up on us like a hungry hound dog on a T-bone steak.
You could say how there's a storm approaching within a few days, and the last time a big storm like this came through, that's when the disappearances started, or more people disappeared when this came through. So it gives kind of like a ticking clock element where they know the storm is coming and that something bad is probably going to happen when it reaches town.
Therefore, one must conclude that dumping nuclear waste into the aquifer does not and will not affect the water.
Pretty soon we'll all be glowing in the dark.
Another important NPC to add is the alchemist or the mage that was sent from the local kingdom to make sure everything was hunky-dory with the toxic waste.
Well, I'm a chemist, and I've been testing water for the county for over 10 years.
You can have him always reassuring the town, reassuring the players, oh, there's nothing to worry about. Everything is 100% safe. I've done many tests. Everything is good. People are just paranoid. It's a dangerous world. People disappear all the time. They're just concerned about the storm coming. Everybody's hyped up about it.
As you see, I have no hesitation drinking this water.
I ran the numbers. They're perfect. Don't worry about it. And I would have him, be always kind of dismissive of the group whenever they try to bring up something related to the toxic waste. Once they're able to offer definitive proof, he would quickly about face on his position and become helpful to the party and even offer to help them stop this menace, this being from terrorizing the town. Last but not least, the star of the show should be the being itself. You need this big epic monster to have a final confrontation with. I think there's two ways that you could run the monster in this one shot or this side quest. You could have it where they kind of run into it multiple times in small little encounters, leading up to a final big encounter during the storm, either in the center of town or maybe at the waste dumping site by the river. Or if you wanted to not have as many combat encounters, perhaps you have the players always one step behind. They're always finding the aftermath of what the monster has caused. And so it's a buildup of suspense until the final battle with this horrible being creature. Perhaps I would probably do it at the center of town or at the dumping site, especially when that storm comes in, make it really epic. So it all depends on what your group prefers. If they're more combat heavy, more roleplay heavy, or, just whatever feels appropriate for the session. Maybe more of a mystery where they're finding clues and finding different locations where people got attacked or disappeared. Or perhaps, it feels more natural for them to have small little encounters with the creature, but it always seems to get away. Whatever works best for your table. The being, as far as 80s monster movies go, is okay, but I would describe it in your game as this large, hulking, grotesque figure. In the movie, they talk about how bright light seems to hurt it or at least make it run away, so give it sunlight sensitivity as far as a stat block goes. Also, I would give it like a poisonous aura so that when anybody's in melee range of it, it deals like static damage to people that get close to it. Another cool quality it had in the movie is it kind of acted like the Blob, where it pushed itself through vents and through tight spaces. So you could give it like the ooze ability where it can push itself through narrow crevices, which would be handy for it to escape if the players encounter it early, but also if the players try to like barricade themselves, it can like squeeze under a door or something like that. So it makes it versatile for both defense and offense. Now in the film, they talk about how this being is super intelligent. It's using more of its brain than a normal human and all this stuff that doesn't really pay off. Honestly, I would give it maybe a high intelligence, but really play it more like a brute where it wants to just batter people and attack people. You could have it be clever in the sense that maybe it's tricky, like it only comes out at night or it stalks around in the shadows and it's hard to see or hard to catch. But really play it like a true monster. It wants to devour and crush and consume everybody in the town. And here's a stat block that I'll put on screen for you. So if you want to use that, feel free to. If you want to tweak it to better fit your game, knock yourself out. This is just a guideline of what I think would make for a good stat rundown for the being. Overall, I think the being is just the right kind of schlock for inspiration for your D&D game. It has a looming threat, some pretty fun and goofy NPCs, and an interesting setting with an approaching storm for like a ticking clock element, and a really cool monster that makes for some kind of interesting encounter finale for your players. I give it 8 out of 10 toxic waste arms through the chest. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to share it with a friend to help grow the channel. And drop a comment down below telling me what movie I should do on the next episode of Dungeon Schlock.